Hanging Sun, 2022. This, as the film explains at the start, this is set in a polar region where the midnight sun is um, appears to give the sun the quality that it's just staying there in the sky. It doesn't set in around solstice, around the middle part of the summer. So this film is set in Greenland, and the film is by Joe Nesbo. He's the he's quite a figure in the Scandic noir, film noir from the Nordic region. I remember Headhunters. Love that film. That's quite quite some time ago now, a decade and a half ago, and um, it's the film is about a, a man who has not done what he's meant to have done, and he's been hunted down by some other men, and it is a very masculine film in a way, although there's a couple of women who have roles. One, uh, Jessica Brown Finley, she plays Leah, and she's very um, she's got quite an instrumental role in the film, but through the way she's treated, it's quite clear that this is a very patriarchal society, um, and the fear is being encouraged because it's a small religious community, and fear, as described by a pastor, is a gift from God. That's a new one for me, that phrase. But it captures the austere spirit and the siege mentality often present on an island, but or in a very isolated community. Um, it's it, it's a it's a way of gaslighting people. Obviously, I would say. I mean, sexism is a very strong force in this film. The narrative, I mean, it's a warning. It's a warning, I think, of how things are going a lot in Western culture as a whole. But I guess it's ever present in um, small places, in rural places where there's a lot of fear of the other. Um, and the passage says that it's not logic or reason that keeps monsters at bay, it's fear. So he's welcoming fear, and fear is paralyzing, and fear keeps things how they are. It stops things from changing. This fear of change is a huge element, fear of the other. It's really big. But when fear is ever present, there's, as shown a lot in the early part of this film, a lot more um, male violence against women and girls, and that's the case with what happens with Leah. And she's got a husband who won't take no for an answer. You find that early on. Women make no decisions here. How frightening is that? Um, and given that has happened across the world in many cultures, finding it returning in the modern world uh, is really disturbing because, in a way, um, many, many people, many of us thought, in the fights for women's rights, for LGBTQIA plus rights, for disabled rights, for everything that really matters, the fight against racism, um, the 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 fight against all forms of marginalisation, the fact that it can be reversed and happen more quickly than the fight itself to get emancipation. That's what's really shocking, I guess. Um, so the main characters, there's John, played by Alessandro Borghi. Um, uh, he introduces himself as Ray to Leah and her young lad. He's very inquisitive, the young lad. He's very politely spoken. I mean, um, it's all filmed in Greenland, but it's in the English language, and so it could just as well be somewhere in the north of Scotland. The roads are very similar. It just has more of a Nordic feel about it, obviously, apart from the you know, the English spoken, which I mean, um, I guess that's the nature of genres, and to appeal to a wider audience, films are often made in English for that reason. Um, so I said about Jessica Brown Findlay playing Leah. There's um, Sam Sproul plays a couple of twins, Aaron and Nicholas. So two brothers, and um, one is, well, they're both forceful, but one comes in after something happens to the other one. Um, um, there's Peter Mullen playing a father figure, father of John, and um, it's it's. I mean, John is like he seems very moody and brooding, but he's trying to win Leah's trust, and that is part of the film. Is he a force for? Is he a force for good? Is he someone that Leah can trust when just about all the other men, apart from her son, the grown men in this film are effectively untrustworthy? John is a bit of a loner, and um, he reveals more about himself as he goes along, but Leah is pretty stuck. There's another woman in this film, Anita, played by Salome Gunnarsdottir. She has more peripheral role, but again, she's very aware of how strong a hold patriarchy has. Um, Now it's quite. I'd score this 7.5 out of 10. It's got that sort of humdrum feeling because of the way the weather is. I mean, it's always light. I mean, it's up there in the polar region above the Arctic Circle. The sun doesn't set, but you don't see the sun much because a lot of the time it's overcast. Sometimes the cloud breaks and you see a bit of the light. Um, so, um, yeah, 7.5. It's pretty good. It's pretty dour in certain respects, but it was worth watching. It was quite interesting. I'd love to know what you think, if you've seen this film. Um, Thanks for subscribing. Please hit the like if you like this review, hit the notification button, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.